Welcome to CDT day 143. 8 days left on the Continental Divide Trail. This is the exit from my camp. I just got camp all picked up, so I'm ready to go. Just about 5 minutes ago, Bambi and Snake Legs walked by, so we're playing leapfrog again. They're, I seem to walk a little bit further than them, but they get up earlier than me, which is not difficult. Everybody gets up earlier than me. But this is where I camped last night. This is beautiful. This is actually considered a pass. Very, very gentle one, but one nonetheless. So that's the view of the inside of my cozy little nook there. I just saw this big, tight grouping of big pine trees with that little opening in there. So it worked out well. I am decked out in all my rain gear, and I have my ankle tied up with a wrap. I still felt the tendonitis this morning, or what I assume to be tendonitis. Obviously, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't diagnose it, but it feels exactly like the last time I had tendonitis, so makes sense. Either way, it is 7:50 a.m. and I am on the move. Can you believe that? I am out of camp before 8. So I have 36 and a half, roughly, miles until town. So I'm hoping to do 25 or more today. That is pretty much entirely contingent upon my ankles, because I'm pretty sure the weather's supposed to be decent today. And I'm up early enough to get in way more than 25 miles, so it all just depends on what I can handle on this ankle. Right now it feels fine to walk when it's wrapped up, so I'm hoping that continues for the rest of the day. Onward. I just made it to the Badger Ranger Station. So this is about 13 and a half miles in on the day, and I had no brakes again, even with this ankle nagging at me. I think the wrap is helping it quite a bit. But anyways, I digress. I'm at the Badger Station. It's got a picnic table, it's got a water pump, even has a creek nearby, fencing everywhere for me to dry out my wet stuff, and then this whole roofed area so that I can enjoy some food. And I am so pumped because not only did I get 13 and a half miles done, I also didn't have last night's dinner, didn't have today's breakfast, and now, of course, didn't have today's lunch. So I have all this food that I can eat right now if I so choose. And oh, I choose. So I'm eating some peanut butter right now, just so I can like sit down, take a breather, relax for a minute. But I'm going to be making 2 packs of pork ramen, and I'm fortunate I don't have pork, so I use the half bag of this white meat chicken. The other half will be for tonight's dinner, and so chicken, and then everything, all the goodies in here. So that is bacon bits, sharp cheddar cheese, and gravy powder. So that's a whole meal right there. And then today's breakfast is 2 Carnation Instant Breakfast chocolate, so that's all there. And then today's lunch is going to be a protein bar, Nature Valley Oats and honey bar, and the rest of this jar of peanut butter. So I have that. And then I also have 2 packs of Gatorade powder that I didn't put in my water yet, so I'll have that to drink and be good to go. And also, added on to my lunch, I was going to start getting into my big bag of M&M Crispies. I still have this, and I'm in town tomorrow, so I was trying to hold on to this as long as I could so I could have like a last day treat, and here she blows. So a little bit of this for lunch perhaps, maybe not because that's a lot of food, so I'm not even sure if I'll eat all this, but perhaps a little bit with lunch, and then the rest with dinner. Maybe save a little bit for tomorrow morning so I can just have a nice little wake up pick me up, because tomorrow morning I have 2 of these Carnation Instant Breakfast and then nothing else to get to town, so maybe I'll save some of these for tomorrow. But either way, I'm gonna break into that puppy and be good to go. So I have so much food to eat. I walked far enough to have a really good dent in the day. My ankle's holding up well enough with this wrap I have on it. And I'm in just this gorgeous place with a beautiful view of the mountains and all the amenities previously described. So I'm feeling pretty good. So not only did I do this 13.5 miles in one sitting, it also appears to be a much bigger shortcut than the CDT. So I took a lay alternate to get here. A lot of people don't do it because they say it's overgrown, and with it being so wet today, you know, there's no rain, but all the plants are so covered in water that just walking past them you get soaked, as you've seen in the past day or two. And I was like, oh, if it's overgrown, I don't want to go through that and get all soaked. But on the CDT itself, leaving camp, it was so overgrown that I got wet anyways. So I said, screw it, I'll go down here. Don't even know if it's a shortcut. It's just a different path with a little less elevation. So it's an elevation shortcut. But no idea if it was shorter in distance. So I came here to this ranger station. I've been on trail for about 4 hours now. It's 11:50 a.m., so 7:50 to 11:50, 4 hours. And went about 13.5 miles of miles that I know. And that puts me at an average of like 3.4 miles per hour. And you guys know me, that's not happening. So actually, I probably only had to walk about maybe 12 miles, like 10 to 12 miles to get here. So my break isn't actually 13.5 miles without stopping, but it's, 10 to 12 without stopping. But either way, the shortcut cuts off quite a bit more, and which is pretty exciting. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to Bambi and Snake Legs before I hit that turn. They were already past it, but I think they'll be just fine taking their other short, because there's another lay shortcut that cuts off about 4 miles, but they would still get them here in like another hour or two. So I might see them. I'm going to be here for a while. I mean, no breaks, and I walk super fast apparently, and apparently at a bigger shortcut than thought of. So I'm bagging it today. I am in the plus, if you will. So I'm going to have a nice break, so they might catch up to me. I'm about over an hour into my lunch break, and we got a new visitor, Pabst. Found him, finally. Turns out he was probably about 5 miles in front of me the entire 6 days, so we've been super close to each other, and he's been camping everywhere I've wanted to camp but had to stop short of, so reunited. And day before town, so I'm gonna chill here for a while longer, just hang out, enjoy some blue skies coming through, so we might get some sun for a while. Finally, hopefully warm things up, hopefully dry out the trail a little bit if it can. And we'll be heading towards the road today. Nice. Back on trail after about a 3-hour break at the guard station. Just enjoying having a place to be drying out all my stuff and just taking it easy for a while, really relaxing, giving my ankles some time to rest because it's getting a little agitated hanging out with Pabst. So Pabst and I are now headed on our way to get to the road. We only have about think about 14 miles left, at least. We could do more, but it's about 3 p.m. right now. So that leaves about 5 hours of usable light. So it's about 13 to 15 miles. So, yeah, we're in really good shape to get into town tomorrow morning with single-digit miles into town. So everything's working out pretty perfectly. And it's all thanks to this alternate that I was about to not take and decided to take. To put in perspective how much quicker it was, I got ahead of Pabst, who was about, I think, like 5 miles ahead of me the past couple days. And then Bambi and Snake Legs, the two girls that passed me early this morning when I was packing up camp, I was 2 hours ahead of them. They showed up around an hour ago. I had already been at the ranger station for a couple hours, so I just got really lucky with that, and that seemed to be a pretty decent shortcut. So now I'm going to take advantage of the rest of the day and see how many miles I can put out to get us close to town. But it looks like I have a spot picked out that should be pretty good. It's about 13, 14 miles from here. It's on a forestry road in the woods, and there's a water source nearby, so it sounds like a pretty good place to set up camp. We'll see how it goes. Well, also, when I was hanging out with Pabst, I learned that I'm pretty sure I am half a day, if not a full day, ahead of Jesus. I thought that I was like a day, maybe a day and a half behind him. I actually thought that he probably would have gotten into town today or last night. So the fact that we're ahead of him is surprising. But Pap said that Jesus decided to go to Augusta, which he told me he was planning on before. So I think that time in town put him behind. So I guess I'll be seeing him in East Glacier, because I know I'll be spending a fair amount of time in that town. So I guess I'll be reuniting with the Jesus again. Cool. So at the ranger cabin, I dried out everything I own except for my shoes and socks. And if you're wondering why, this is why. We got about 9 river crossings on this section of trail, and I said, why bother trying out when I'm just going to get wet again? And it is paying dividends, because I just passed the girls, Bambi and Snake Legs, and Maps, the third girl, showed up with them. I don't know when she came into the mix. I never saw her pass, but regardless, past those 3, and they're trying to rock hop. And I told them, you know, Gut Hook said there's some crossings you aren't going to be able to get across dry, so you may as well just get wet now. But they're holding on to hope, and I'm moving. Well, we got the whole gang together now. That's Snake Legs, Bambi, and Maps right in front of me. Got Paps right behind me, and the 5 of us are headed down this side trail that is taking us parallel to the highway. So we're technically kind of getting highway miles right now, but on, you know, much more secluded, nice trail where there's a creek in about a mile. So I'm thinking we're just going to camp there while we're still on public land, have a nice fire, not have to worry about stealth camping. And that leaves about, I think, about 9 miles of walking tomorrow morning into town. Absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, you can't win them all. There's a small section for about 2 miles between the trail we're on and the highway that's actually private land. So we have to turn around, and now we're going back, cutting back onto the CDT, then doing a layout down to the highway on public land. So all in all, about a half-mile lost. Going back to the trail, and then the trail is more indirect than the way we wanted to go. So there's a loss of 1, potentially 2 miles of opportunity lost. So we're looking at like, 1.5 to 2.5 miles. So not the worst, but just a little disappointing because it takes a longer way to get to town. Just stinks that there's just a small section. It's private land, but we're in Montana during hunting season, so definitely want to respect private boundaries, because there are people out in the woods at dawn and dusk with guns all over the place. So, and you don't want to be going on private land anyways, if you can help it. I definitely had to go on before, but I'm not taking my chances now. So close to town, so close to the end of the CDT. Let's not ruin it, So we're gonna go this way and then camp and pick it up in the morning, and probably have like maybe a 10-mile day into town, 11 at the most. Not too bad. Oh, it's so dark. My flashlight is so bad. But yeah, ending the day now. Just set up camp. I am camping with Pabst and Maps and Bambi and Snake Legs, and Family Size just joined us. The guy has been helping me out in Helena when my phone was dead, and then I had breakfast with him in Lincoln, so really cool guy. So he just joined us seconds ago, so that worked out. So I think we're a little less than a mile from the road, and then maybe 10 miles in, so somewhere around 10 miles to town tomorrow morning. But today's stats, I did 27.1 miles today, and about 3,200 feet of climbing. So pretty mellow again in terms of climbing, which was really nice. But definitely a long day, and it took a toll on my ankle, but this wrap is helping me walk quite a bit more than expected, so that worked out really well. And got to hang out with all these people. So tomorrow I might be trying to get up early so I can head to that breakfast buffet in town, but if I wake up late, that's not a problem. I'll be getting food either way. But that's the end of the night, so you can check out some photos, and we'll see you in the morning when I finally head into East Glacier and mark 1 week left on the CDT.